how would I explain Space Marines to someone who's never heard of them?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So fast forward 28,000 years into the future. So we're in year 30,000. Humanity has risen and fallen so many times that Earth is a dead planet, but there's still, it's like Mad Max style. Okay. And there's probably planets in the galaxy that are still going through golden ages, but they are very isolated and localized, right? That the Emperor of Mankind. Okay, and he decides that he is finally done with going through the cycle of rise and fall, and that he is going to bring humanity's golden age. And the first step is to unite Earth, right? Because right now it's just techno warlords and shit like that. And so, crazy thing about the Emperor of Mankind is he has lived for the entirety of mankind. He is immortal. He's actually what they call a perpetual, so that if he dies, he comes back to life eventually. Maybe 100 years, it may be 10 years, maybe a year, maybe 1,000 years, he will come back to life eventually. No one knows how he was created. That's part of the lore. He's just always been around. One of the thought processes, one of the psychers are a thing at the Warhammer universe. All the original psychics were these shamans way back in the caveman days. They were all over the earth, and they all had this one vision that one being would save humanity at one point, and the only way that he could be brought to being was if every psyker ritually killed themselves at the same time on planet Earth, and so they all did. That's one theory on how he was created. Yeah, super cold. They all died way back in 2000 or 10,000 BC. They all killed themselves, and their collective souls came together to create the Emperor of Mankind. He's been around since then. But no one knows how he came to being. Right? So this dude decides that he's going to make, with all the knowledge he's gotten in the last 30,000 years of humanity, he's going to create the perfect genetic super soldier. But first he's going to create 20 versions of him, because he's already corrected his DNA to the point of it being perfect. He's going to pick different traits that he has that are awesome, and he's going to model these 20 men after him, those traits in himself, and then create 20 legions of these perfect soldiers to follow them, right? And so he does that. He gets done with the 20 guys, and unbeknownst to him are these chaos, or these beings that live in the psychic realm, who realize how powerful he is and how powerful these beings are that he created, and while they're still embryos in their creation process, steals them and spreads them throughout the galaxy to be killed or died, right? All 20 of them end up living, and he ends up uniting them in the end. But that's all
Another story for another day.
Another story for another day. But anyways, he creates these perfect genetic beings, and I'm just going through the founding of them, really. Conquers the entirety of the galaxy with them, and at one point, one of the Primarchs, which were the beings he distilled from himself and distilled these Space Marines from them, decides that he found out something that his dad lied about, and he didn't like it. So he got 9 of his other brothers to come along with him, and they revolt, and they completely destroy the Empire. They kill most of their other brothers, and half of them die as well. And then mortally wound their father to the point where, so the way that people travel is psychically, and the only way that you can tell where you are in the galaxy is there's this beacon that the Emperor controls on Earth, so you always know where Earth is. You can find where you are in the galaxy from the lighthouse, right?
Gotcha.
Well, when he finds out he's mortally wounded, he decides he's going to sit into the golden throne that controls it and use the last of his being to always keep it active, so that he cannot be reborn. Well, nobody knows this, but he cannot be reborn while he's in the golden throne, and he won't fully die while he's in the golden throne. But he's keeping his empire together by sitting on it. And so that's why he cannot influence anything, but they still call him the ruler, even though he really doesn't rule anything. Can't communicate with anybody. He's a corpse for all intents and purposes. Yeah. That'll be the beginning of Space Marine.